So I know you probably clicked on this video today and told yourself there's absolutely no way that these people are about to convince me that dragons exist. And well, maybe you're right, but also maybe you're wrong. What's up, folks? Welcome to The Supreme, your daily YouTube channel bringing you the best in entertainment from some of the deepest and darkest corners of the internet. I'm your host, Matty Wills, and today's title is 7 Times People Have Seen Dragons in Real Life. Want to become part of the Supreme team? Make sure to subscribe down below with notifications on so you don't miss anything we post each day. Let's get rolling. The Chinese dragon. Now, with Chinese mythology and symbolism being so wrapped up in the existence of the age-old dragon, it's no surprise that some of our content today will feature things that no doubt originated over in China. It's also important to understand that in no way are we proclaiming that dragons actually exist or that they're an absolute fact. All we can do is submit the evidence and let you all make up your own minds. So check out this first clip that comes from a newspaper publication in the aforementioned country, China. These images represent what many locals on the ground said was undoubtedly a flying dragon, much like the ones featured in the infamous show Game of Thrones. Now, do you know that I still haven't finished that series? So, hey, no spoilers. Anyway, check it out. Countless phone calls were made to authorities when this flying, large winged animal could be seen flapping over several different Chinese cities. Others who just knew that this couldn't be a real dragon suggested that it could possibly be a pterosaur, which of course sounds just as ridiculous as suggesting that it is a dragon. A pterosaur, in case you didn't know, is a dinosaur, and they've been extinct for about 65 million years. So what do you really think this could be? A dragon? A hoax? Just like every other story you see today, feel free to provide us feedback whenever you get a chance by commenting down there in the comment section. So since we're talking about dragons today, we can't help but pause for a moment and show you this image that was recently sent in to the Supreme family. Check it out. This appears to be a full-grown dragon just almost posing for the camera. Where the heck do you think this could be from? And most importantly, do you think it's real? While it certainly looks the part, of course, these days we can never be completely sure. So we'll keep continuing with today's countdown. But if you know the video that's attached to this image, well, please go ahead and drop that link down below. Dragon Aura. So up next, we've got a photograph that was snapped over in Iceland back in February of 2019. Check it out. This is a bright green dragon that appeared from the Northern Lights, which we've covered here on the channel before. Doesn't that look like a dragon? For those who don't know, the Northern Lights are a bright display that appear in the sky. Technically, they're the result of bright lights colliding between electrically charged particles that come from the sun. You can typically see them in Antarctica or over in Iceland. They enter the Earth's atmosphere and formulate this sweeping, dancing light energy that sometimes, apparently, can form some strange shapes. Kind of like the way clouds sometimes form things in the skies that look like objects here on Earth. This time around, though, the strange and mystical lights formed this formation that looks eerily similar to a dragon. So what do you think? A coincidence or something more, like premonition? I guess at this point, only time will tell. Snagged by a fisherman. Up next, we got a story that broke online about 5 years ago. This time around, the story comes from Inner Mongolia, where a fisherman claims to have reeled in actual evidence of the supposedly mythical beast by way of a 5-foot dragon. Now, I've got to say that my radar went up almost immediately because this is the first time in my life that I've ever heard of a dragon being found in a freshwater lake. But hey, what do I know? I just thought that dragons flew in the skies and not swam in our waters. But the more that I thought about it, if there was something wrong with the dragon and it ended up collapsing out of the sky for any reason, well, there's almost a 50-50 chance that it's going to end up in a large body of water because, well, it's either it crashes on water or it falls down to the ground. So Thus why I said a 50-50 chance. Anyway, what the heck do you really think this is? It most certainly doesn't look like any other underwater creature that I've ever seen. But when you compare this supposed dragon that was pulled up from the waters to the traditional Chinese artwork of dragons with its long torso, horns, and whiskers, I mean, this really almost looks like a replica of those same drawings. Then, sheesh, what am I supposed to believe? Salisbury Ridgeback. Now our next clip comes from a news channel overseas that hit the internet just a few short years ago. In it, you can see the anchor of the news telling a story about a very rare find that recently happened overhead, and yup, you guessed it, it was another dragon. Check it out. Now, of course, we've got to take this video with a grain of salt simply because it claims to display a flying dragon. But this particular video is a bit different because the claim here was that it also was a very specific breed of the fairy-tailed animal. This supposedly is what's known as the Salisbury Ridgeback dragon, and according to the report, this is a very rare breed indeed. Known to be timid, that they usually only fly at night, this footage shows one, if you so choose to believe it, flying over the cathedral in Salisbury of Great Britain. Now, I've got to keep it real with you for just a moment. I was under the impression that every single species of dragon was super rare because nobody ever sees them. I didn't know that only the Salisbury one was. And of course, this footage looks a bit suspicious, so if we do in fact learn anything else about this rare breed, we'll be sure to go ahead and share with you all. Now, if we're talking Salisbury steak, I'm all in, but we're talking dragons, so let's move it right along. Disney's dragons. Coming up on number 3 of today's countdown, we've got another unusual story. This one made waves online back in the summer of 2012. In a bizarre event near the airport in Bakersfield, California, dragons, real dragons, were seen flying through the air by several local residents and tourists. It was with that definitiveness that I'm able to say that these, in fact, were real dragons, although they weren't necessarily the variety that eats and breathes. These gigantic metal-made machines could be seen taking off from and landing at the Bakersfield airport, and many believe that they were sent there by Disney in preparation of shooting the infamous grand movie Avatar. Of course, these weren't really real dragons, rather more like electric gliders that were dressed up to look the part. Now, Disney did come out and say that these dragons could be used for a multitude of different reasons. So maybe it wasn't for Avatar, but you gotta admit that this certainly is a strange sight. I mean, can you imagine heading to work and seeing a dragon flying overhead for real? That would be insane. Real flying dragons. So before we dive into the number 2 number for today, we've got to pause for a moment and send out a quick shout out. Today's special recognition goes to none other than Ibrahim Vids, who just the other day left a comment that said, "Hey, I love your videos, and from time to time I ever watched your videos, I loved it. Thanks so much for checking us out. And don't forget to swing on back through tomorrow because we'll have even more brand new content." So we've seen some weird stuff today, right? I know. Everything you've seen today probably has been very strange. I mean, come on, we're talking about dragons. What did you expect? But up next, we've got one animal that is a real dragon, and it's a real dragon because it's in all types of science and animal books stating that it is indeed real. I'm talking about the flying dragon lizard, which is a small lizard that can be found over in Asia. Now, even though they're technically called flying dragons, these little dudes don't have wings. They can glide, however, and have been known to cover almost the entire length of a football field on a single jump. The flying dragon can grow to about 12 inches long, and most of you probably know that reptiles are cold-blooded, which is exactly how the mothers of these lizards act to their babies. Once she drops off the eggs, which can be anywhere between 1 and 5, she doesn't necessarily stick around to see her babies grow up. Almost as soon as she drops the eggs off, she's out of there. And while these things may not breathe fire or strike real fear into anyone's heart because of their sheer size and general unferociousness, they are still some pretty cool animals that should be treated with respect if you ever run into one out there in the wild. By the way, if you want to get a shout out in our daily videos, don't forget to drop a comment and show some love with the hashtag Supreme Family. You could be the lucky one tomorrow. Now, let's get back to the video. Baby dragon in China. We'll end things today with video that surfaced just a few years ago back over in China. Now, trust me, I know that some of the things that you've seen today have been slightly, well, let's just say they've been a bit unusual. But I hope you saved some room for some more weird news, because that's exactly what we'll be ending with. Check it out. In a video that claims to be originally uploaded back in April of 2017 from over in Li Shu Da Do Ji, Zhunshin Shi, hey, I think I actually nailed that. I probably didn't. But check this out. It appears to be a teeny tiny baby dragon resting in some sort of nest. Whoa, this footage looks absolutely incredible. But of course, the one thing that we absolutely have to ask ourselves is this real? Could it be? If dragons aren't real creatures, then, well, why is this cute little thing here? If you think this is just another prime example of computer graphics and AI, then let us know your thoughts down in the comments. But if there's a chance that you think this could in fact be the real thing, even if it's just the smallest % of a chance, well, I want to read about that down in the comments as well. And that's today's video. If you like today's video, leave a thumbs up and share it with all your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you never have to miss out on any of our interesting videos ever again.